What's up, folks? Welcome to D'Angelo Unfiltered. Today, we're not wasting any time, and what we're going to talk about today is something that only ultra successful people truly understand. And now, by the end of this video, you will also. It's about self confidence and integration, and I'm not going to tell you to do journaling, mirror work, meditation, or anything of that kind of sort. If you are serious about your self growth, you will explore these things based on their usefulness to you. Getting what you want is about self improvement, and self improvement is about seeking knowledge that you then integrate and embody. Success is on the other side of ownership. The world is a spinning ball of opportunity, and you got to ask yourself, why is someone able to get wealthy and you can't? Why can someone else get the relationship they want and you can't? There is something to be said about appreciating what you have, but the reality is that people achieve because they sacrifice where others won't and they push through doubt. There is a lot to be said about energetic congruence. Have you ever seen someone who doesn't think they'll be successful and doesn't put in work actually succeed? No, because they're sitting at home doing nothing. The least you can do for you is work towards your ideal life. Hell, I will fight until I die. If I never got there, at least I fought for myself and my cause. If you see yourself as unlucky or average, your brain will try to protect that narrative. This is a common narrative, and we absolutely have to break this down. Why can two people experience similar troubles but have two totally different life outcomes? Environment is no small factor, sure, but environment is very important and contributes to the difficulty of achieving success. But difficulty does not mean success is unachievable. There are just different hoops to jump through. Just like the world is a spinning ball of misfortunes, I'm a firm believer that those who get what they want in life are the ones who can experience the most pain and push through anyway. This is also why society becoming so pacified and satisfied with constant entertainment is a major problem. We think life is supposed to be joyous or easy all the time, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. Life is suffering, and most people seem to run away from that. But if you don't run away and you extract a lesson from it, this is where the real unlock begins. You not only utilize the positives, but the negatives as well. High performers love failure. That's when they learn the most. This is also why having critics is not a bad thing, because something critics don't realize when they criticize is that they are giving you the keys to the car. Oh, so you're saying I did this wrong, or maybe I should look at things this way? Okay, perfect. Thanks for making me better. See you next time. Either way, you win. You can't lose. Loss and failure are constructs of the mind, really, and it's a story we tell ourselves, because really loss and failure is growth disguised as a negative experience. I'm the type of person who turns chaos into opportunity. Think about Stephen A. Smith, maybe the biggest sports pundit of all time and definitely in this era. He left ESPN because of the contract offer they gave him, but then he came back later and proved himself to be the single most consequential talent they could have. He could have said okay and bowed down, but he didn't. He kept showing up for himself, and he turned an underpaid contract into what is now an $100 million contract with ESPN. Take Steve Jobs, one of the smartest and influential creators and thinkers of the modern era. He was publicly ousted by Apple, but he just continued to work on other projects to prove his worth, and he came back to Apple and changed the company forever. There is no substitute and no greater power than persistence and mental strength under fire. So once again, affirm this daily, especially during setbacks. I'm the type of person who turns chaos into opportunity. We don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. This is why everyone has different interpretations on a piece of art or a piece of music or a piece of entertainment. This is why political infighting will always be an issue. This is why you cannot hope to persuade someone by pushing facts on them, because if their internal view of the world comes into opposition to the things you present to them, they are far less likely to listen or even care about your take. Why do you think social media platforms are so powerful? Why do they use an algorithm to keep you on the app? How do they do it? They find what you like, they find what you think is true, they find your biases, and then your psychological makeup is fed back to you on screen. That's why social media is so addicting. We all like to feel right. We all like to believe our worldview is better. And this appeals to our vanity and our ego. And if we get confirmation outside of us that our worldview we believe in, we feel justified. This is relevant to seeing opportunities instead of problems, because you have to understand how confirmation bias works in the first place. And it works against you. You're manipulated by outside forces. Your confirmation bias, because humans are inherently more negative than positive, will tell you that you can't achieve something or shouldn't do something because it's protecting you from failure and rejection. Maybe you think the world is unfair. And you very well can find stories out there that confirm that worldview, but you shouldn't get caught up in that. There are always reasons not to do something, but the reasons are never good enough to stop you from living the life you should have. You have one life. Why live it with the tail between your legs? If you train your mind to seek solutions, ideas, or opportunities, you'll start to notice them everywhere. It's honestly simpler than you think, but the main thing is getting out of the negativity silo. You can find gaps and ways to make a mark in many things, but you have to have the space to think and be creative. I remember back in 2022 when I first realized I needed to change myself and my life. I stopped smoking weed, I stopped smoking nicotine, I started to meditate, I started to read, and I eventually stopped drinking in 2024, just last year. I started to watch podcasts, I started to read self-help books, I started to reflect on my life. It was an opportunity for me to grow, and I found endless resources to achieve that. There are resources everywhere, and people often feel stuck in the situation they are in, but it's just a matter of staying in that place by will. You don't have to be stuck if you don't want to be. Growing and achieving in this world takes hard work and dedication. So the question is, are you dedicated? Do you actually want a better life, or are you just saying you do? Will you spend less time on social media or watching Netflix and actually focus on yourself? You are wasting time, the most valuable aspect of your life and the most limited capital you have. Adversity is value extraction and pressure creates diamonds. This is why people say experience is the greatest teacher, because experience implies that you've been through something many times. We often get cocky or just plain naive about this because we are blasted with stories of people who get lucky and achieve massive success in a short amount of time. But exceptions don't disprove the rule. The news and social media is full of broadcasted exceptions because it's an exception. It's newsworthy and popular because it's unusual. This is fool's gold. 99% of successful people in any field worked many years before they appeared as their most dominant and prominent selves. So we don't see the years of struggle behind the scenes. Why do all superhero characters and anime characters go through huge struggles and training arcs? That's why. I remember I was in such a dark place a few years ago, but I started to extract value from different resources and I've changed tremendously. If I had never gone through dark times, I would not be the person I am today, period. It took me 3 full years to get from rock bottom to the spot that I'm in now. And quite frankly, I hit multiple down spirals on the way down. That's how growth is. It's non-linear, it's beautiful, it's ugly, it's wild and untamed. Don't run away from adversity. Your breakthrough is behind the curtain if you take a peek. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and I've missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. That's Michael Jordan. In essence, failure is a teacher. You don't just ride a bike the first time you pedal. You have to fall first and then you ride effortlessly later. So if you take nothing else from this, please remember this one fact. Success doesn't just show up. Opportunities come first. You have to be aware and open enough to see them. Then you have to take them. So number one, you have to be awake. You have to be perceptive of the world and all that it has to offer. You have to know yourself and be open to others, open to new experiences, open to the unknown in general. Number two, you have to be strong enough and fearless. You have to tell yourself that you'll dive into unknown territory. You'll fail, you'll refine, you'll see what you're capable of. We are all capable of doing honestly anything. Whenever I'm in a conversation with someone and they know way more than I do in a given topic, I might say to myself, I'm going to become knowledgeable about this. This seems simple, but think about people who say, hey, I'm not good at math. They can do it, but I can't. Why? Because it was hard in the past? Is Einstein or any other great human in history really an alien like we make them out to be? Or are they just driven and applying themselves to something with the belief that most others don't have? I'm not a believer in someone being smarter or more intelligent by way of birth. You can have more inherent gifts and skill, but we often say that hard work beats talent any day of the week, because hard work creates talent and skill. Hard work is the acquisition of talent and skill. If life is a game and we're looking at everything through levels, if you only rely on your inherent abilities, which place you at a level 56, and the less talented person is sitting at a 26, but they work twice as hard, they will eventually surpass level 56 by way of upward motion and momentum. Don't let someone outwork you. That's a variable you can always control. And that's about it. I hope you extracted something from this. I hope it's something that you can take into your life. Changes happen at the root, and the root of your success is raw mindset. That's what we're working on here. Like and subscribe if you want to continue to elevate. This is a no nonsense type of channel. You'll receive the real and no fluff, because that's what life really is. But until next time, folks, this is D'Angelo Unfiltered. Talk to you later.